Capital City Records in Baton Rouge. Was just in there, bought some stuff. Let's see what I got. Greetings, y'all. On today's episode, I visited Capital City Records in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm still working down here in Lafayette, Louisiana, and I had an afternoon free, so I decided to go to my old stomping grounds of Baton Rouge and visit Capital City Records, and also District Donuts and Cove Hawaiian Grill, two establishments that I enjoy quite a bit. So, without further ado, Capital City Records. Let's see what I picked up. From 2008, we have Dr. Dog and the album Fate CD. $1.99. I picked up a couple CDs from Capital City, and pretty much all his CDs were priced $1.99. I don't know if he's trying to get rid of them or what. There were a couple that were priced a little more that were kind of like, rare or, little more, obscure or whatever. But for the most part, I think all the CDs were $1.99. Like I said, maybe he's trying to get rid of them. I first became familiar with Dr. Dog and their song Alaska, which I saw on New York Noise, the music video show I've talked about a few times. Really like that song. And I have a couple of songs by them. I don't know if I have any of their albums. Maybe I have one or two CDs by them, I think. But I saw this at $1.99. I didn't really know anything on this, but was like, why not? Can't hurt to pick it up, $2. So I grabbed it, and I quite like it a bit. Some of the tracks on here that I enjoy are The Breeze, Hang On, From is really good, 100 Years I like, Uncovering the Old, and My Friend. So, handful, like just on my first listen, a handful of tracks stood out and I really enjoyed. So I'll definitely be going back to this one and maybe pick up some more stuff by them. I almost saw them live in, I think, Seattle, maybe almost 10 years ago, 2013 or 2012. But that trip was kind of postponed, so I didn't get to see them. But if you're into like that kind of mellow, laid back kind of rock alternative stuff, I think you'd really dig them. But really good band, and this was definitely a great purchase there at Capital City. 1993, we get Aztec Camera and Dreamland, another $1.99, like I said. One of the kind of cool things about Capital City with the CDs, he puts most of them in these like plastic sleeves, the same way when you buy vinyl, you get the plastic sleeve, and he's got a lot of his CDs, which is pretty interesting, because that's kind of going, kind of a step beyond what most people do. The only time you really find stuff in these plastic sleeves and CDs is if it's like, an import or like a kind of a rare CD or something. Somebody might put them in these, to kind of just protect them or whatever. But, even all of his CDs he's got in these things, which is kind of cool. So I have one other CD by Aztec Camera. I was aware of them in the mid-'80s, I guess, with the song Oblivious, and which I really liked. And then I guess last year I picked up the album that's on, and I really kind of liked it quite a bit. And I didn't really know a lot by Aztec Camera besides that, and I knew their cover of Jump, the Van Halen song. So, when I started digging at Capital City through the CDs, Aztec right at the beginning, and I saw this for $1.99, I was like, well, hey, can't go wrong really, but I wasn't really that crazy about it. I don't know how to describe the sound of this. I don't know if it's like a little more pop or like adult contemporary or something. It's just something about it just didn't really jive with me. I didn't know this album at all when I picked it up, and when I was listening to it, there were a couple of songs that kind of stood out, and not like I really liked them, but I just thought, these sound okay. Spanish Horses, Pianos and Clocks, and Vertigo. Those three stood out as being okay. You know, I'd give them another listen, or give the whole album another listen, but it really wasn't anything too catchy, you know, really. And I didn't really like the sound. It didn't remind me of the CD with Oblivious on it that I picked up last year. This sounded like kind of something a little different, but I'd give it another listen maybe and see, you know, before I kind of write it off. And worst case scenario, paid $1.99, so not like a big loss if I'm not crazy about it. 2004, we get Franz Ferdinand, their debut album. And this was really popular at the time for the song Take Me Out. We all remember that tune, and it was a very good song. And it's funny because it wasn't until maybe a few years ago, I can't remember the name of the song, but I think it was like The Bullet or something like that was the name of the song that came out, and I really liked it. And that's when I kind of was like, you know, I really kind of should check more into this band. I hadn't bought any of their stuff. I don't think I had even had any songs by them, not even Take Me Out, like digitally or anything like that, just random songs. And that song I really dug, and I found the CD somewhere fairly cheap, and I really liked it. Then I picked up another CD that I think I found at Goodwill. And so then when I saw this, I was sure that I even had it. I had to like check my app to double check to see if I had it, and I didn't. So I was like, oh shoot. So I picked it up, and it's really good. I mean, this is a perfect example of like something that was pretty popular at the time when this came out that I just really kind of ignored. Like, I liked that one song, but I didn't delve too deep into it or even pick it up or anything like that. So listening to this for the first time the other day after I got it, and I was just like, yeah, this is a good album, man. Like, some of the tunes on here I really dig is Jacqueline, the lead off track I really like. Dark of the Matinee, which I think might have been a single. Cheating on You was good. Darts of Pleasure I really liked, but those are the ones that really stood out. But really, I thought for the most part, most of this album I really liked. I'm gonna listen to it again very soon because I really like this. And I don't know how many other albums. I have 3 by them, and I don't know how many more they have. But might be something I definitely need to kind of like dig a little more into some of their other stuff and pick it up. Wouldn't be surprised if I can find it fairly cheap. I think they're still active, right? I'm not sure if they are, but I think they are. But really good band. Just one of those bands that just kind of slipped through the cracks for me, but glad I'm sort of catching up now. From 1986, we get the Housemartins, London 0, Hull 4. I guess Hull 1. So some of you might have been saying, like, Steve, man, you keep traveling around all these different record stores and you never buy vinyl. Well, here we go. I bought some vinyl. Now you happy? Okay, great. Leave me alone. No, but I first became aware of the Housemartins in the, I guess, mid-late 80s when I heard Happy Hour. Maybe saw the video somewhere. But I love that song. I remember going out and picking up the 45. Never heard of them, and picked up the 45 and would play that constantly. But surprisingly, never picked up the album. I don't know why. I can't really say. And I guess these guys only have 2 studio records, I think. There's just one more after this, and then they kind of parted ways. The bass player, Norman Cook, became Fatboy Slim. And then 2 of the other dudes, I forget which ones, they created the band Beautiful South, with which I only really became aware of a handful of years ago, maybe 5 some odd years ago. And surprisingly, now that I think about it, I think when I was working last in Baton Rouge in 2016 or something like that, I remember going to Capital City and finding 1 or 2 Beautiful South CDs and buying them, and it's a pretty good band. And I don't think at the time I even knew that they were connected to the Housemartins, but I have this also on CD. There's, I think, maybe 4 extra tracks on the CD, but really good band, you know. I don't know what the story is behind why they split up so quick, but this is a really good one. I should probably maybe pick up the other album, just take a chance on it if I can find it cheap. I don't know if it's cheap. This wasn't too bad at Capital City. It was $9.99. which I thought was pretty reasonable. He's got a really good setup over there, Capital City. Good selection. I like the way the store's set up as well too, because it's kind of like one section sort of like your kind of classic rock, and then you have sort of like the newer stuff where you would find, you know, the stuff from like 2000s and on. And then he's got a section which I guess you would maybe call like new wave or punk, like 80s kind of acts, which is where I found this. And I kind of forgot how he must have like an affinity for like 80s new wave punk and stuff, because to have it have its own sort of section in the store, you know, it must mean something. But I was glad to grab this, and it's a great record. Like I said, some of the tracks that I dig, aside from Happy Hour on here, are Get Up Off Our Knees is really good. Anxious is really good. That should, I don't know if it was a single, but it should have been. Sitting on a Fence I really like. Over There is good. And We're Not Deep I really like as well. But great record. There's the band there. Just a regular vinyl Electra. I don't know if these ever been reissued or anything like that. Wouldn't surprise me, but really good pickup, I thought. You know, glad I got this one. It's something that I hadn't even thought of picking up on vinyl, but when I saw it, I instantly was like, oh yeah, gotta get that. And it's in great condition. So that's my stop at Capital City Records in Baton Rouge. If you're in that area, by all means, you should stop in and check it out. I don't know if he sells stuff online, maybe he does, but he's really got a great selection there. I really like that store, and it was really pretty crowded. I mean, people were keeping their distances and masks and all that stuff, but I was surprised. It was like a Friday afternoon. I thought I'd be the only person there, and the place was, you know, had a good bunch of people, and you know, people kind of coming and going. So, you know, great to see him doing well, you know, all these years later. But by all means, please like, subscribe. Give me some comments down below what you think of these records. Tell me what you think of this Aztec Camera, if I'm maybe kind of misjudging it, or maybe it's a great record, because it really didn't do much for me at all. But we'll see you next time from who knows where.